Welcome everybody to another week of Thunderdome Fantasy Weekly Report. Yes, I am late as hell. I'm sorry. Like I was just telling them backstage, I've been working. I done put in 62.75 hours in the past fucking 7 days. I've worked 12 days straight. I'm still a little fucking loopy. Uh got this stuff over here. It's my New Year's drink. we'll get into the show. Bring in my co-host and my co-commissioner, Mr. John Creel, and we'll bring in my other co-host, the Angels GM, Miss Pam K. Creel.
Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
Um,
All right, we're all here.
Good.
Apologies, everyone. We're going to try to make this as quick as possible because the games start here in like
1 minute.
Now,
a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They're about to kick off. So last week, damn, I'm on the wrong page already. Last week, kicking it off with the playoff games, we had the number 1 Hammerheads facing off against the number 6 Angels. Hammerheads pulled off the victory 226.52 to 216.64. This was a small win margin of 9.98?
88.
Yeah.
9.88.
Okay. Yeah, very small win margin. Close game. I think both of the games were very close all the way throughout up until some point, I guess, when mine kind of stretched. Actually, I thought he was going to win, man. He had 8 players. I had 1.
Yeah.
I did my math in my head and was looking at these players' points. I didn't look at their projection. I looked at their points, what they do during the week.
Right.
And I was like, man, he finna whoop my ass by like 20, at least 20. Good game.
Yeah.
Good game. I'm working. I like I said, I've been working for 12 days straight. So I ain't even get to watch last week. Last week was a blur to me. I was at work. Yeah. So getting into it.
All right. Well, we'll start off with the top scorers. For the Hammerheads, Matt Stafford had 24.72. Jahmyr Gibbs had 24, and Evan Ingram had 19.50. On the defense, Terrell Bernard had 13, Josh Metellus had 12, and Aziz Al-Shaher had 12. For the Angels, Jalen Hurts had 25.44. CeeDee Lamb had 25.20. And Zay Flowers had 22.20. For the defense, Kirby Joseph had 23.70.
Yep.
Ernest Jones had 17.50. And Patrick Queen had 13.60. The player of the game, I went with Josh Metellus. His 12 points was triple what he was projected with 4.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, it was the first time I was able to pull off a win against her this year, and it luckily was clutch.
Just had to be the one that was the needed win.
Yeah, I got really lucky. I mean, without a doubt, I got really lucky.
Crucial. I mean, like we said, it was only a 9-point game, so I mean, it was.
I blame it all on Lamb.
Well, I don't know. Lamb had 25 points, but still.
I know, but what he pulled yesterday, I blame it on Lamb.
Right?
I could have won
used
if
that
he played
41
like
points.
this week.
Well,
I could have won if he played like this week.
Well, any of them can do that at any moment. They just got to have that one game.
I know. I'm hoping for that this week, but
I wanted a back-to-back, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So there we are with the first team in the championship game, the number 1 Hammerheads. Congratulations. That game's kind of in full effect with 2 games already being played. I didn't know they had a game yesterday on Saturday because
Yeah, they ended up playing that.
I
Detroit
thought last
Dallas
week
game.
was the last day they were doing the last days on Saturday. I didn't really realize that
Yeah,
they
well,
were
I
still
think-
doing Saturdays.
I think that I think that one game last night was the only game they had on yesterday's ticket. I think it was just Detroit and Dallas.
Okay, so yeah, they are winding it down then because I think there was 2
Yeah.
the week before or whatever on Saturday.
Yeah,
Okay, so-
2 or 3. I
All
think
right,
they had
weird.
a
Anyway.
earlier one.
We jumping again.
Oh yeah, last week was Christmas weekend, so yeah, they had a whole friggin' array of games going on.
Oh yeah, they were trying to cover the whole weekend for that.
All right, well, we'll get into the next game, which was the number 2 Dragons facing off against the number 5 Hendrix Mafia. Dragons got the victory 213.96 to 180.08. This was a
33.
33-point
33.88.
win margin. I mean,
33.88.
it could have been worse, or it could have been the opposite way, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I only finished with 213, so like I said, it could have went the opposite way, even with.
Yeah, but dude, you kind of let it out there a little bit.
It was crazy. So, but see,
33
this
is
is why
more
we
than
say that
9.
getting that bye week is crucial.
Yeah.
Getting that, because if I'd have did this in the first week, I'm going down. Like I'm not getting I was getting beat by any of the teams in the first week.
I mean, I could have very well lost last week.
If
I mean,
Lamb
it
would
was
play
just
the
that
same
close.
every week, no.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
man.
all right. I'm
All right,
gonna rub
well,
it
we'll
in.
pass it over to John with them scores.
All right, leading scores for the Dragons. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 29.10 points. Jordan Love had 27.96 points. And Rashad White had 19.70 points. On the defense, Jalen Thompson had 16.50 points. Carl Granderson had 12.50 points. And Logan Wilson had 11 points. For Hendrix
I was
Mafia.
about the extent of my defense too.
For Hendrix Mafia, Josh Allen had 26.98 points. Garrett Wilson had 15.80 points. And DeAndre Swift had 15.20 points. On the defense, Bobby Wagner had 19.50 points. Derek Stingley Jr. had 10.50 points. And Philadelphia's defense had 8 points. Player of the game, Jalen Thompson with his 16.50.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'll
yeah,
take that.
that was
Wish the
that
rest
was
of my
that was a
damn
good
defense would
strong
have did
win.
something like that. But
strong
I'll take
win.
the win.
St. Brown is a monster, man. He is
I mean,
literally
huge
the Lions
grab
team.
that year in that draft. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Number 2 Dragons went to the championship against the number 1 Hammerheads. I'd have to go back and look, but I think this is probably the first time that it's ever been the number 1 and the number 2 in the championship against each other. I think it's always been
I don't know. I
a
can't
mix
remember.
of
I
things,
could've-
but I mean, like I said, I'd have to go back and look. Like I said, I'm not even going to say it's the first time. I'm just saying
No,
it's the number
It
1 and
may
number
be,
2.
you know,
I might have misspoke the first time. Matter of fact, like I said, I'm a little loopy. I've been pre-gaming
You
over
know,
here.
I thought I was in second last year and Brandon was in first.
I don't know. I can't remember. I'd have to go
Maybe.
back and look at. I'd have to pull it up on the thing. As a matter of fact, I think the
that's what
year
I'm saying. That's what I'm
you
saying.
played Chris.
It is the number 1 and number 2, but that year I think I was number 3. But I could be wrong. So
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I'll look at
either
it
way, this is the first time we have faced each other in a championship.
in a
game.
championship.
Well,
Yep, this is the first
it's
time we
also gonna
faced
be
each
the
other
first-
in a championship.
It's
And
also going to be the first 2 times.
yep,
Exactly.
no matter who
Exactly.
who loses, whoever
One way or the
wins
other,
is
we're
going to
gonna
be
have
the
our
first
first
2-time
two-time winner.
champion. So there's that to
I'm
look
not going to
forward
lie.
to.
The Hammerheads organization would love for it to be them,
We've
but
already got the
And
trophy
I know
here.
it's the same on the Dragons side. The Dragons are we're still struggling, man. Today is the first day that we've had to ourselves, and
John
I
is
finally got to see what the score was.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm okay. That's thumbs up. But John's got the whole damn roster to play. Everybody except for one player to play, and I got a lot of people that could
the one thing
put
that was
up duds,
discouraging,
and then he's right back in it. The
one
four
thing that was
players don't amount
discouraging
to my whole team now.
Hold on.
the one thing discouraging about it was the fact that you've had what, 5 or 6 players, and all of them exceeded their projection. So that right there tells me
4. Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The ones that played on Thursday night were Myles Garrett and
He had 4.
4?
John.
That's even worse.
4.
That's
okay,
3.
well, that's even worse.
Garrett.
74 points off of 4 players. That's good,
Myles
good
Garrett,
numbers.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes. Ford.
Sam Laporta. And then the 4th one was Ford.
Right?
Ford from Cleveland, yeah. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Put up
even worse.
75 points between 4 players. I like that. That is, like I said, that does make me happy. But I still have a shitload of players to go compared to his shitload of players to go. Just because Gibbs didn't hit his projection don't mean anything.
Oh, I know.
You got 16
the
players
game is still going.
19.
Yeah,
yes,
I know.
I am happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy. Hooray. I got a nice little start going into Sunday.
Celebrate.
But that can quickly evaporate. So I'm not getting my hopes
I need you
up.
to celebrate. Come on, man.
I'm not celebrating. I am not celebrating. And I will not celebrate until Thursday whenever they do the fucking little Yahoo fucking change, man.
Right?
I don't care if I win by 20. I will not celebrate until Thursday. You know, like,
hey, you know something? I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we've had any games overturned from points changes this year.
No.
I don't recall any games being changed up.
No, there's been point changes, but there hasn't been no point,
never
like
enough
game
to overturn
changes.
A game. Yeah.
No. Last year was the most recent year that happened.
Yeah, we had a bunch.
I can't remember which game it was, but I remember it happened to Miller, I believe.
Yeah.
Against somebody.
Oh, I thought I could have swore it happened to me one time.
It may
I want to say me and Sean for some reason.
I think last year,
it's happened. It's happened a couple times. I know that, but I think last year was the most recent time.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Matter of fact, I'll even take Miller's name out of my mouth. I don't know who it was. I just think it was last year as the most recent time that it happened.
Right. Yeah, because like I say, I don't recall it happening this year at all.
No.
Because normally that's one of the big things. So I got to give Yahoo credit. At least they're catching up to us. As far as being able to keep it, especially with our
point differentials. Now our point differential things are just coming down to those little half tackles or something that they're fixing or whatever. It's not big mistakes like it used to be.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll get into the next game, which was the battle for the 7th and 8th draft spot between Orange Crush and the Senators. Huh?
You want to talk about a close game? This one was it.
This is definitely the closest game ever. Well, not ever, but the closest game of the week.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Definitely.
222 or Orange Crush versus Senators 222.30 to 221.10. This was an Orange Crush victory. Of
1.2. 1.2.
1.2.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's really close.
So literally that was a catch for 20 yards.
Yeah.
that was the difference in that game.
Yeah.
It's insane.
No.
They changed
2
something. No,
yards.
Oh, 2 yards. That's
2
right.
yards.
1 catch for 2 yards. Yeah, my
One
bad. I'm
catch for
stupid.
2 yards.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
would have been
20
3
yards,
points.
that'd be 2 points right there. Like, shit, that's the
That's a
game.
win.
That shit. I was like, unless it's the quarterback, like, like the quarterback gets a point for every 25 yards, but every
Hey,
10
man,
yards is
hey,
a, I was like,
I
wait a
can't
minute, hold on,
help my
20
math
yards,
ain't
that'd be
mathing
3
today
points
either.
between the catch and the 2.
My math ain't
Yeah,
mathing today either,
2
man.
yard catch, yeah, is the point 2, yeah. Okay, good win for Jeff to finish the season off.
Brain juice.
He could have used that win last week or the week before, but didn't have it for him. But
Yeah,
huge year for him.
It was a
Honestly,
big year.
my top candidate for comeback coach of the year. Yeah,
First time in the playoff. Yeah, he's definitely up there.
I don't think it's first time in the playoff, but I think it's his. I think
We'd have to go back and look. I can't remember.
it might be his first time in the playoffs. Honestly,
Well, I mean, if
I'd
I
have to go
remember
back and
right,
look at it.
was,
But
I don't know.
do we have any comments? No comments. Okay, all right.
Yeah, people are
Anybody
doing.
awake
People are
out there?
preparing to drink. So,
It's
Yeah.
almost game time. It is game time. So that's
all right. Well,
Better speed it up.
leading
Game zone.
scorers. Huh?
Better speed it up. The game zone.
Oh my God! Leading scorers for Orange Crush. Puka Nakua had 33 points.
There you go.
Mike Evans had 27.60 points, and Saquon Barkley had 19.40 points. For the defense, Caden Ellis had 21.50 points. Bradley Chubb had 12.50 points, and Zach Seiler had 11.50 points.
Man, stop that.
For the Sin Eaters, James Conner had 22.20 points. Patrick Mahomes had 18.70 points. Romeo Dobbs had 17.90 points.
Okay, could you do the pause?
Look what you
button or
did.
something?
I gotta push my slow down button.
All right. On the defense for Sin Eaters, Brian Branch had 21.50 points. Sorry. Ooh. Cameron Bynum had 15 points. And Keyshawn Nixon had 13.40 points. And I went with Caden Ellis for player of the game. Caden Ellis with his 21.50 points. That was a huge game for him.
Yeah, he went off against Arizona, I believe. Yeah, he went off.
And
crazy.
not to sound old, but you do realize I was like a couple days ago when I realized that Caden Ellis and Christian Ellis are the sons of Luther Ellis, who used to play defensive line for the Lions back in the day. I don't know if you remember Luther Ellis.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I had just found out not too long ago. I was like, oh, my God. Because the last name is what kind of sparked it. I remembered. I'm like, Ellis, that sounds familiar. Went back and looked, and he played for the Lions, defensive line. Yeah. So we got more of those.
I think we looked into this last year, too, and we didn't even think about it because we were going through all of the players that were college or that were NFL stars, kids or whatever. I think we were talking about this last year, and yeah, that's crazy.
I completely missed it.
Think
I didn't
about
even
it when
realize
we
they
were
were
talking about it. Like,
it's insane.
because I remember we were talking about how Marvin Harrison's junior son. I remember we were talking about him. We were talking about Dion's kids. We were talking about
Jerry's got a son with USC that's hitting the draft this year.
Yeah, Jerry's son. Who else were we talking about? We were talking about Barry Sanders' son. That was because that's how it striked up. Was we were talking about Barry Sanders' son.
Yeah, especially after the Bye Bye Barry show on Prime. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's very good. Very good show.
I'm flipping on the game right now.
Announcer now.
All right. Well, we'll get into the. Well, we're gonna have our first time champion this year, 2-time champion. Sorry, this year. So, hooray for that! Third place game is the battle between Angels and the Hendricks Mafia. So we'll see who ends up with the 10th and 9th overall pick in the draft next year. As we
Right.
say that, the number 7 pick will go to the Orange Crush next year. And the wait. That's
No.
wrong.
7th pick will go
That's
to
wrong
Sin Eater.
because Orange Crush won. So that's
Yeah.
wrong. The number 7th pick next year will go to the Sin Eaters.
Sin Eater. And
And
then
the number
Orange
8
Crush will
pick
get 8.
will go to
Right.
the Orange Crush next year. Had that backwards. Duh. Anyway,
It
get
gets
into the
confusing.
consolation bracket now.
All right. This was a huge game.
Yeah. Crimson Elephants facing off against Kush Crushers. Crimson Elephants beat down the Kush Crushers 289.50 to 223.48. Kush Crushers could have played anybody else in the winning bracket of the consolation bracket and got a win in this, except he played Crimson Elephants, and Crimson Elephants went the fuck off this week.
Well, no, actually, Bucks Life had a good game too. Bucks would have got him as well, but that was it.
Yeah, but Bucks Life wasn't in the winning consolation part of the bracket.
Right.
You're right. My bad.
He was in
You're
the
right.
losing part of the bracket. And
I the way I have my paper laid out, I didn't have that specified, so my bad.
no, I get. That's why I tried to state it, the winning part of the consolation bracket, but I might have said it wrong or mixed up. I don't know.
No,
Like I
you
said,
didn't. I just wasn't paying attention to what we were talking about.
New Year's Eve, whoop whoop.
Yeah.
I know, right? We need to hurry up. I got a birthday party in a little bit. I got to go.
Yeah, we got a birthday. All right. So what was the point differential for that game?
66.02.
Right.
Yep, I gave you your .02.
Which was the highest. No, it wasn't. Never mind.
Second highest.
Second highest. I looked at the Bucks Life game and was like, never mind.
Never mind. I mean, even Yahoo pointed out that team.
Yeah. So that point from Crimson Elephant, yeah, and even Sean I talked with Sean about it, and he was like, yeah, he said, I wish this would have come up just a few weeks ago, this many points, because then it would have been a completely different scenario. But
yep.
Yeah, 289 points. That was huge. Leading scorers for Crimson Elephants, Amari Cooper had 51.50 points. George Pickens had 35.50 points. And Christian McCaffrey had 26.10 points. On defense, Boye Mafe had 20.50 points. Houston defense had 10 points. Dexter Lawrence II and Donovan Wilson each had 10 points. For the Kush Crushers, Greg Dortch had 21.60 points. Cameron Dicker had 21.50 points. And DeMarcus Robinson had 20.20 points. On the defense, Kyle Hamilton had 19.70 points. Baltimore's defense had 18 points. And Levante David rounded out with 15 points. And, of course, Amari Cooper, player of the game.
Yep.
51 points. He had a huge game.
All right, well, off to the next game, which was the Thad Castles team facing off against Los Patos.
Yep.
Thad Castles team pulled off the victory 203.08 to 183.10. I believe this was a 19 point what?
98.
19.98. Man, that was a great year.
I know. Smart Alex.
19.98 victory for Thad Castles team, which is
Which
crazy
was
because
again,
now Thad Castles team
is
in the championship of the consolation bracket again. Crazy.
And for the record, my sources say that the Crimson Elephants are looking to shut that shit down. Okay.
Yeah.
They're looking to
and
shut
Sean
that shit
could
down.
become the first champion to win 2 different championships.
There you go. Right.
I mean, Either Thad Castle can have this damn shit sponsored after him after another victory, or Sean could be the first one to have a championship in both brackets.
Right.
It's gonna be crazy. Gonna be crazy. We'll find out. That's gonna be an interesting matchup. But anyway, we'll get into the top scores between the Thad Castles team and the Los Patos.
All right. Leading scorers for Thad Castle's team. Brees Hall had 43.10 points. Lamar Jackson had 26.58 points. And Javonte Williams had 10.90 points. On the defense, Antone Winfield Jr. had 19 points. New York Jets defense had 13 points. And Fred Warner had 12.50. For Los Patos, Damian Pierce had 26 points. Jason Sanders had 23.70 points. And Tyreek Hill had 18.90 points. For the defense, Jordan Fuller had 11.10 points. Javon Hargrave had 9.50 points. And LA Rams defense had 7 points. Player of the game, Brees Hall, with his 43.10 points.
I mean, you put up 40 damn points, you're pretty much guaranteed to get player of the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because you're usually nowhere near that in projection. I mean, you might be close in 20, but 40 points, you're doubling it. So.
All right, well, we'll get into that final game of the consolation bracket, which was the losing game, the losing losers game of the consolation bracket between Bucks Life and Legend Killers. Huh?
No, just said
I mean,
the losing
right.
losers game.
That's right, right? The losing, they both lost the first round, so now they're playing in the losing bracket. Yeah, it sounds weird, but that's the right damn wording for it, man. It's the losing losers.
No, you're right.
It's the losers bracket of the losing. Like
the losing, it's the losing losers bracket.
It is. It's the losing losers bracket. Like, because it's the consolation bracket is already the losers bracket. That's in my mind. You know what I mean? So
we're gonna
whatever.
Call it,
anyway, Bucks Life versus Legend Killers. What's up?
The 11th place game.
Yes, the 11th. There we go. The 11th place game between Bucks Life and Legend Killers, which has no effect on the draft positions. That those are already locked in. But for Yahoo's purposes, Bucks Life, Legend Killers facing off. Bucks Life got the victory, 237.02 to 167.10. This was the first highest win scoring margin of the week.
And what was that margin?
69.92.
69.92. Wow.
I know, right?
So big win margin for Bucks Life. Way to finish his year out with a big win. Yeah. And he walks away with the #1 draft pick next year. Whatever. He gets a win and he still gets to fucking get the first overall draft pick. But whatever.
All right. Leading scorers for Bucks Life. Calvin Ridley had 25.80 points. T. Higgins had 25 points. And Gabe Davis had 23 points. On the defense, Frankie Louvu had 19 points. Devin White had 14 points. And Tony Adams had 12 points. For the Legend Killers, Justin Jefferson had 27.10 points. George Kittle had 19.60 points. And Bijan Robinson had 19.20 points. On the defense, Nick Bosa had 12. Tuli Pelotu, there we go, easy for me to say, had 10.50 points. And Tyrann Mathieu had 8.50 points. The player of the game was Gabe Davis, 23 points. It exceeded his projection. I think his projection was only like 8 or 9. Could have been less.
Way to finish his year. I mean,
Yep.
what can we say?
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
All right, so here we go for this week's games. Good luck to everybody but John. Championship game, the ThunderBowl. number one Hammerheads versus the number 2 Dragons. Third place game, number 5 Hendrix Mafia facing off against the number 6 Angels. Consolation bracket, we got the Josh Bowl, battle between Thad Castle's team facing the Crimson Elephants. Sorry, said that in the wrong order. Crimson Elephants facing off against Thad Castle's team. And we have Los Patos facing off against Kush Crushers as the 9th place game, which only affects the final rankings of the bracket, not the draft results.
It's just to save some face
Draft
saving
results for next year. Number 1 goes to the Bucks Life. Number 2 goes to Kush Crushers. Number 3 goes to Legend Killers. Number 4 goes to Thad Castle's team. Number 5 goes to Los Patos. Number 6 goes to Crimson Elephants. Number 7 goes to Sin Eaters. And number 8 goes to the Orange Crush. Ba-ba-bam.
Da-da.
We have one more show left, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be Thursday. We won't screw this up this time. I'm not working 7 days this week. I'm off today and tomorrow. I'm getting my rest. I'm not working a full day on Thursday either. I'm working a morning shift, which is back to my normal, what I do. So that's going to be fun. All right. See you guys next week. Look at all the little munchkins.
I got no mascots.
So that's a hammerhead right there. Just so you know, he's part of the Hammerheads organization. He's visiting. Yeah. He's visiting the Angels right now.
Oh, but that's your Hammerheads that you love.
Football, so she's neutral.
I'm gonna dress my dog in a dragon outfit.
On the Angels. Wilson's on the Angels team.
All right. Well, like we said,
wait. It's one last thing. So. As far as last week's offensive player of the week, Amari Cooper. Defensive player of the week, Malcolm Kuntz. That was the last thing, finishing that off.
Yep, forgot about that. Yeah. Forgot about that.
And Malcolm Kuntz is a free agent, so good luck.
I didn't grab him.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I grabbed King because he's put up double digits in the past 2 games, and I was like, you know what? Desmond King's not going to put up double digits because I grabbed him. So I went and picked up Bryce Young because Bryce Young is just so late in the draft, and maybe he'll have much more hype to him next year going into his second year. And I took him just to keep him off of other people's rosters to not be kept at a late spot. And I dropped Desmond King, and I put up this Christian Benford guy from Buffalo who's putting up about 9 to 7 points for the past couple weeks. And I was like, you know what? If he can do that against New England, I'm happy. He's projected to do like at least 5. So I was like, at least this guy's projected. Desmond King's projected to put up 0, and maybe he was just in for an injury the past couple weeks. Yeah. There's no like lineup checker like there is for baseball. You know what I mean? If you go to the baseball, I think it's RotoWire or something, and you go for baseball, you can see who's going to play or whatever. But when you go to football and you look up who's going to play, they can tell you the injury, but they ain't going to tell you who's playing. They ain't going to be like, oh, this guy's going to be on the field at least 40% of the time. This is, you know what I mean? They're not going to give you that. So.
Well, the biggest move I made, I needed a defensive back, so I went and picked up Jack Jones from the Raiders, who over the previous 2 weeks has scored 19 points and 20 points with pick sixes.
That's what it said for Desmond King too, but I was like, you know what? I'm that one that I've been grabbing these players that have been doing those numbers, and then
Yeah.
they get on my team and they don't do those numbers. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's what's going to happen to Desmond King. So I was like, you know
Well,
what?
more
He's
than
only
likely,
put up
that's what's
50.
gonna.
He's only put up 53. This is another thinking. He's only put up 53 fantasy points the whole season, and
Right.
it's because of the last 2 games.
Right.
I think
All of a
Maybe
sudden
that
he got
person
hurt.
that was injured is back now, and he ain't gonna get that play time that he was getting.
Yeah.
Hey, John, they're gonna go now.
I'm
Say
gonna
bye,
trust my
everybody.
gut on this one, guys.
Bye, guys.
We're out of here. See y'all next week. Peace. Don't fantasy week. What? No. Anyway.
And hair grease. I'm out.
So chicken grease and hair. What?
Wilson's waving bye.
Brain freeze and chicken grease. What? All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week on the Thunderdome
right.
Fantasy Weekly Report with the final say so of everything. We'll have the final draft
Champion.
order of next year. We'll have the first 2-time champion. We'll have all that stuff for you guys. Whether it's the number 1 Hammerheads or the number 2 Dragons, we're going to have our first 2-time champion in the Thunderdome League. And I'm really hoping that I can, take that honor this year. I really do. That would be lovely, lovely, lovely. I mean, to just be first, like I said, I'm the Patriots, y'all. I mean, I'm the Cowboys. You're the Patriots. To be the first one, just
Well, right now I had to pull off a Patriots comeback in the Super Bowl in order to win right now. So
Oh, children.
I want to turn my team from the Cowboys to the 49ers or the Steelers.
No,
I don't want to be the Cowboys of this league
Wilson.
anymore. I want to be.
Okay. All right, guys. Good luck to both.
So,
Talk to y'all later.
All right.
Exactly. Good night, guys. We'll see y'all. Or good day, guys. Whatever. Y'all know what it is. Later.